This short video will walk you through how to find your sources for your research paper. Just a reminder that for this research paper, you must have 6 credible sources. You're going to cite the movie also, so that will be it'll be a source, but it won't be one of your 6. So you need 6 in addition to that. You must have 1 book. Find this source first because this will take the longest one for you to find. And I'm going to show you a couple of places to go to look for that. You can get a novel. Maybe the story was a novel first and then it was made into a movie. You can find a biography or an autobiography or maybe some type of historical book about the event. So, for example, if you're writing about the Holocaust, you could find, you could use Anne Frank, or you could use maybe the Hitler Youth book that I have. I mean, any kind of book that will give you some information about the background of one particular type of thing that you're talking about. So find the book first. That's going to be the hardest thing for you to locate. And we're going to talk about how to find that. You need to have at least 1 magazine article or print source. This can be an online magazine article. So this would be coming from Time or Newsweek, Scientific America. It could be Sports Illustrated, anything like that, depending upon what your topic is. So you want to find 1 magazine. You need to find 2 database sources. This will come either from Elm or EBSCO. You'll find this in Elm through the Rush City website, which is down right now as I'm making this video, but I'm going to show you how to get to Elm. If you are a college student through Pine Tech, you can also use their resources, and I would highly encourage you to not only use the resources that are available through Pine Tech, but also to make sure that you utilize Adam Bez to check the Pine Tech librarian because he can really help you. And then the last thing you need are 2 internet sources. The internet sources must be reliable internet sources, and hopefully we'll have a chance to talk a little bit about that at one of our Zoom meetings on this Wednesday or next Wednesday, so we can talk a little bit about what does it mean to find a reliable source. So 1 book, 1 magazine article, 2 database sources, 2 internet sources. Those are your 6 sources, plus the 6 credible sources, plus the movie. So let's go through and see where we can find that. If we go into the research paper, excuse me, under this area where we're researching sources, this is where you're going to go look for how to locate sources. So let's talk about that book first. There's 2 places that you can look, and ask me too, because I might have it or I might be able to find it, or depending upon what your topic is, I might be willing to buy the book. Sometimes it's a movie that I think other students might want to do, so it's worth it for me to have the book here. If the website were up and running, the high school website, there's 2 places that you can find the card catalog for the website. The first one is by clicking here on this Go Alexandria. The second place that you can find it is by clicking on this Rush City High School, going to the main page. You're going to see they're experiencing technical difficulties right now. And then you just go into the high school and then go into the media area, and you'll be able to see that there. You can use the Minnesota link. That can take a little while to get the book, especially if it's coming from St. Cloud State University. Another one you can use is this East Central Regional Library. You must have a library card, obviously, to be able to use it for the public library. But if you go on here, you can just go to the library catalog and you can search through the catalog for a topic to see what you can find. If the book is not located in the Rush City Library, you can place a hold on it and ask them to send it to you. And they'll send it to you, and then they'll let you know when it comes in, and you can just go pick it up. So if you have any questions about that, you can let me know. So the first thing you want to do is locate your book. We're still in this locating sources. Do not use the SIRS researcher. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with that. But to the best of my knowledge, I think we are no longer using SIRS. It was a purchased database, so it was something that the school would have to purchase. So I'm going to check into it. But my guess is, based on the fact that I can't make it work, that they probably decided to cut that when we did budget cuts. So the next place that you can go, which will be a really good resource for you, is the Elm. Do not use this link. This link is not working, but I do have a link under step 2, researching sources, and I'll show you that in a minute. In the Elm area, here's where you can go. You can go to the encyclopedia. You can't use an encyclopedia entry for one of your sources, but encyclopedia entry will give you some great background information. And then you can go to student resources in context or Explora Teens. I'm going to show you where those are. Either one of those 2 sources will work. If your book has something to do with science, if you're doing like Apollo 13 or you're doing A Beautiful Mind, so you're dealing with schizophrenia, if it has something to do with some type of science or social science, you could probably find something in the Science Reference Center. So that's another place you can look. And then the final place is if you do utilize, if you are a student at Pine Tech, I would highly recommend that you go to this research guide for college composition. And I'm going to show you what that's going to look like too. Not only does it help you with your citations, it'll also help you evaluate the sources and pick and narrow the topics for your sources. So let's go back up here to the researching sources area. This is your step 2. Here's your ELM database. When you click on your ELM database, this is what it's going to look like. This is what's going to come up. You're just going to click on student research, obviously choose high school, and then here are the ones that I mentioned for you. You've got the encyclopedia. The Gale in Context is also encyclopedia, in addition to magazines and journals. You might be able to find some primary sources, which would be a great resource depending upon what you're doing your paper on. You can look at Explora Teens. That will also give you magazines and journals. I would skip the Points of View Reference Center because you're writing a research paper, not an argumentative paper, so you don't need to have 2 different points of view. And then, of course, here you can go down to this Science Reference Center if you have something to do with science. So let's just look at the Gale in Context and see what comes up for the Gale in Context. Things are moving slow on the website today. When this comes up, you can see you can just go ahead and search in here. You can also click and start an advanced search. It's not a bad idea to really start with an advanced search because when you start with an advanced search, not only can you limit it by key terms, you can also choose that you want only full text documents. That means that you can actually look at the document, and then you can choose here what you're looking for. So you might be looking for academic journals. You might be looking for websites. You might be looking for biographies. You might be looking for magazines. So you can choose what you want to look for. You can also then kind of choose the date as you want to. So by publication date. So this one's particularly all dates. Then you can just click in your key terms and see what you can get. See if I can get anything with Louis Zamperini. That's the guy from Unbroken. And so I'm going to search and see what I can get. And then here it looks like I got 23 magazine articles and 2 biographies. I've linked that I only want the full text. So then you can go through and see kind of what they are. This one is a biography that was written. This one is an encyclopedia. So I can look at the encyclopedia, but of course at this point in time I can't use it as a source because encyclopedias are just background information. It's kind of like looking at Wikipedia. So you don't actually want to source that one. So here are some of the magazines. There's Runner's World. That's the magazine. Another one from Runner's World. This is a library journal. So those are the ones that I can particularly look at. Say I want to look at this running back to the races because one of the things that I want to use in my article is how he was a runner. So in my research paper, I want to use that. So I can just go on here and I can look at the article and I can read it and see if I think it's something that I want. If it is something that I think I may use, the best thing for you to do is probably to just email it to yourself. And if you click on that, you can actually email it to yourself. Emailing it to yourself then gives you the opportunity to have that article in your email. When you're done with it, then you can just delete it out of your email. I also want to make sure that if I'm going to use this article, that I want to have it cited in my Works Cited page. This one comes up with just a couple of different choices, MLA 8th edition, APA 7th, Chicago, and Harvard. We're doing the MLA 8th edition, so I can just copy this and paste it. And then after I do that, then I can paste it into my document that I'm going to be keeping for my Works Cited page, and it's already ready to go for me. So a couple of things that you can use as you're doing your research there through the Gale in Context. You can also go back and use the Explora Teens, or the Science Reference Center, and you'll get the same types of results. Okay, so that's the ELM database. The next one is the Pine Tech Research Guide. The Pine Tech Research Guide looks like this. We use this for college composition. That's why it says Research Guides for Composition. Couple of things that I want to point out here for you. It does walk you through all of the different things to how to find background information, locating magazine and newspaper articles, locating peer-reviewed journals, finding books. So you can actually find books through Pine Tech and go pick them up there. So you make sure you're utilizing this table of contents because you can also find internet resources. So if you have access to the Pine Tech database, you'll need your star ID and your password. You can go through and use all of the same things that Rush City has, except Pine Tech's collection is bigger. They have more in their database than the high school has in their database. Shows you how to cite things. Gives you a quick reference for MLA. helps you build the citation. If you're using a website, you want to have some help building the citation. Just make sure you're checking it as you're building it. And then, of course, you can contact Adam Bezdacek, who is the librarian there, either via email or through a phone number. He does hold Zoom meetings. I'll try to make sure that I let you know when those are, so you can actually join anytime you want during his Zoom office hours, and he can help you with anything if you need to talk to him. So that's the next place to go. This is just an article about Wikipedia. It's kind of interesting to read about how you use it and kind of the appropriate use of it. So kind of worth some time for your reading. So just to recap, you can go to these locating sources to find the link for the both the East Central Regional Library as well as the Alexandria Library. And so you can do those things if you want, and then look at that document for that. And then if you have any questions as you're researching these pieces of information, you can certainly just let me know. So good luck with your research. Remember, you need to have 30 note cards total. I am going to make a video on how to do the note cards, so you should be able to access that too. So as always, let me know if you have questions, especially for my distance learners, and I am here to help.